Welcome to the Lightning Zone. And we are introducing a brand new segment today. It's called Live Your Best Story. What's happened, Amy and I, as we've worked with the story code over the years, we've noticed that it's really applicable to our own lives. The story code has not only changed the way we write, but it has changed the way that we live our own story. So we thought, wouldn't it be fun to have a segment where we get to talk about that? And so this is our first one. And
Yes.
what's our topic today, Amy?
Our topic today, we're going to be discussing becoming your own safe character or the safe character dynamic within the story cone. Just really quick, I'm going to show you how it looks on the cone. We have here the cone. And so we've discussed how there's a system up here. There's a primary norm breaker down here. Well, guess what? Sitting here in the middle, balanced, is the safe character. And that safe character typically comes from the system point of view. They've been part of the system. They know the system, but they have chosen to not maybe engage with that system anymore, or
Have a bit of a remove.
have a bit of remove from it. Maybe there's faults with the system that they feel need to be changed, but they've never made that move. All of a sudden, and then along comes a norm breaker, where this person's like, maybe this person needs my help, or not my help as much as the knowledge I have to keep them safe. But above all, this safe character usually will always keep themselves safe and balanced. There's a reason they've not gone against the system. There's a reason they've not become a norm breaker themselves.
Right. And so when we're looking at how this safe character operates in a story, we feel that if we want to be a safe character for ourselves, we can do the same things. Now, I'm talking about, all of us as growing up and maturing, we have to learn how to keep ourselves safe. Whether we had amazing, supportive parents and family, or whether we did not, we all still have to learn to be our own safe character. And if you had a missing parental system or a broken parental system in some way, you can still learn. We can learn to grow up and take care of ourselves and be our own safe character. So we're going to go through three elements of a safe character and talk about how we can apply that in our own lives.
So one of the things that you need to know before you can kind of figure out, are you norm breaker? Can you move into a safe character? What is a safe character? You need to get to know the system. Just like that safe character understands the system. If you are a norm breaker and you've been going along, and there comes a point where you have no safety left. Maybe your safe characters disappeared. They're no longer available. Your mentor's gone. Your teachers are gone. Now you have to then apply what they've been trying to teach you. Well, part of that is getting to know that system. Who are they? What rules are they working underneath? Why do they have those rules? Why are you a norm breaker? What is the purpose of this system? Is it to save you, or is it to rule you unjustly? But you've got to really explore what that system is, just the way a safe character understands a system. If you're going to become your own safe character, you need to make the steps to understand that system.
So how did, Amy, I know you applied this in your own life.
Okay, yes, I actually did. Some of you know that I bought a barn, a huge boarding facility for horses, and I was in a city that did not want that barn there. It was grandfather claused in, and they couldn't take it down as long as it was running. Well, everybody before me, had pretty much failed at running this barn and knowing the story code. I then set to work learning the system. I joined committees and went to council meetings and did everything I could to start to really understand that system, the rules that I was working underneath, as well as why those rules were there and who was in charge of them, just everything I could about that city. I kind of wormed my way in to figure it out.
Yeah, and she, didn't have it taken. The city didn't get to take it away, so that really worked well for her. The second thing that the safe character does is they stay balanced, and we can do the same in our lives. If you had an opposite character or function than the safe character, it would be the tragic hero, because the tragic hero is a noble person trying to do a noble cause, but they don't keep themselves balanced. We all know those tragic heroes have a tragic flaw, and it's usually a lack of sight or balance. So they're barreling forward. And I don't think any of us really want to be a tragic hero very often in our lives. And so we should take a page from the safe character, which is keep ourselves balanced. Figure out how to navigate our system in a way that keeps us safe and balanced. And sometimes that means that we need to be patient. Sometimes it means we need to be a little more prudent. And sometimes the best kinds of change come slow and over time. So that's something to keep in mind, is keep yourself balanced in the forces that are working on either side of you.
Yeah. And we do find ourselves in the norm breaking position sometimes, but having the ability to see what it is to become a safe character, to know that tragic heroes have a tragic flaw, and it's usually a lack of sight, a lack of knowledge. Okay, light bulbs going off, you guys.
Yeah.
So when those light bulbs go off, what we really believe very strongly is that's when you pass on the knowledge. Okay.
Yeah, the safe character doesn't just exist for himself in the story. He or she exists to help the primary norm breaker.
And so that's if you're a writer, guess what? You are, for lack of a better name, you are a safe character. You are passing along knowledge. The best stories do anyway. You in this romp, in this wonderful world that you have built, there is some end, meaning, message, theme that you're passing along, and that's those lessons that you have learned. That's you becoming a safe character and passing along your story and what you have learned.
Wonderful. Another interesting thing about safe characters that Amy and I have noticed in movies is sometimes we see a norm breaker become their own safe character through how they tell their story. And so this is such a powerful dynamic that we just want to end with this idea. So I'm going to use the example of Life of Pi. If you've ever watched that movie, Pi experiences such a traumatic event, and he ends up creating a very kind of fanciful story about how he was survived a shipwreck at sea. But he shaped that story, and the actual facts of the story were not what he would share as his story, and they were very brutal. But he kept himself safe. This was a story he used to keep himself safe. And it's just really, this movie is so beautiful, and it really shows the power of shaping our own meaning out of our own stories. And it's something that we need to do. Like, we get to decide what the meaning of the stories that have happened to us are. Brene Brown said, when we own our own stories, we get to write a brave new ending. So another example of this is Big Fish. The overbearing father tells the story of his life in very fanciful, mythical proportions, which really just irks the son, who is a journalist. He's all about facts and figures. And he just is so irritated about how his dad is always the center of attention, and how his stories are just so outrageous and must be lies. Well, he learns through the course of the story that there's power in how the dad has shaped his stories. And quite frankly, there was a lot of truth to his stories. And as storytellers, we're always saying, what's more important, truth or facts? And often facts don't tell the whole story, but the way we craft a story, which could be a fictional story, actually holds a great deal of truth. So that's one thing, that we try to do, is we try to look at the story of our lives and create the meaning that serves us best and serves those around us and serves the best good in our lives.
And this brings to mind, a personal experience when, so I was a young mother, and I was, off with my friend. We had visited an art exhibit and helped out. We're crossing a road, and I slipped, and I broke my ankle severely, like completely backwards.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
totally backwards. Well, after 4 days in the hospital, emergency surgery, all that, thought I would lose my foot. I didn't. I came home, and of course, they give you drugs that, I had never experienced before. And the narcotics. And I'm incredibly allergic to, the lower drugs they found out, anything with codeine. So the narcotics were, those are the big daddies. I took that first one when I was home. And I thought, this feels good. This feels really good. Wow. Wow. And at that point, I went, oh no. I had a choice. I could see myself abusing these for life right then. And I had to say, no, I'm not going to be this norm breaker, that because I can very, 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 very easy see a path to addiction. And at that point, I had to make that choice and say, no, I had to become my own safe character. And it wasn't easy. I mean, I was in significant pain, and I can uh, uh, just using them wisely and not abusing it. It's a very, very fine line, and I can 100% understand addicts.
Yeah.
100%. So, what we want to really pass along to here is that when you share your stories, these things where you were the norm breaker or could see yourself as the norm breaker.
And even if you had a failure.
Yeah, particularly if you had a failure, because then that shift into hero is so much stronger. You get empathy, you get understanding, people connect, and 100% don't bury your stories. Okay. If you bury your stories, they will haunt you and they will harm you.
Absolutely. And so this is, we're very obsessed about story around here. But professionally, but also personally. And we have just strong, strong feelings about the power of sharing our stories, and that we think that it's one of the best ways to become your safe character. That you share them because you're building that support system, that connection, but also you're creating the meaning that will move you forward in your life. So we hope you like this new section. We're going to be talking about a lot of other things, elements from the story code that we have had fun or have been helped by applying them to our lives. So we'll see you next time.
We'll see you.